What is going on? Movie meals. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I was so busy. I wanted to film this right away. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Two of us were
Tanner,
ready to go. This
Tanner,
was on
Kyle,
you.
here as always. Well, fun fact, it's my show. So, uh,
The
the others are here. The finale of The Mandalorian. Why can't I remember the title? What was the title?
Rescue, Chapter 16.
That's right. Oh my gosh. All right, so let's just start. Kyle, what did you think of the episode overall?
I really love this for a finale, man. I love this so much. I love that we were finally face to face having Mando go against Moff. I loved all that stuff. I loved all the rescue stuff. Anytime that there's a hallway scene in Star Wars now, I get excited because the action's always gonna be so good. And that reveal at the end, man, like I know I've been saying a lot that I don't want this to tie too close to like the Skywalker saga. I want new things to happen, but I gotta say that reveal, I think that was a really good way of at least tying up a little bit of stuff. So we'll get into that in a minute at least. But initial thoughts right now, what a great finale. I have a few small theories about where this could go, but it left off perfectly to where it left me emotional and sobbing, but also just so happy that we get, some great stuff out of Star Wars lately. And, this is a great show. I'm loving this.
Has Mandalorian become Star Wars?
Yes.
It's so. Season 2's been such a banger, and the finale was just like, let's bring it home, baby. And it was amazing. I'm not sure if it's my favorite episode, but boy, it ranks up there. I think I have like one minor nitpick, and it goes a little bit more along the line of like, it would have been cool to do like the original, like stick with original characters, stick with the heart of the show, or like really like center around the heart of the show being Mando and Grogu, and maybe introduce a few new characters. But man, I don't care who you are, but like the minute that arrival happens, you're like, yes, let's go. It's so fun. Yeah, just an incredible finale overall. And I knew those dark troopers were going to be so scary. Oh my god.
Were they though?
I thought they were terrifying.
Nah,
Dude, they started rolling out like the T-800, and I was like, all of a sudden Mando's fighting one of them. I'm like, oh no, this is just one.
The fight with Mando was pretty good. I'll give you that
Especially
one.
with him kind of punching his helmet over and over.
Yeah.
Just like slow, just
I'm gonna make your helmet part of the ship. 1 second.
Eventually, we'll get there.
I woke up early, went to my classroom as I do every Friday to watch the finale. I am bummed that I will not get my little buddy's thoughts on the finale until after the break, because he never watches it till after or when the weekend hits. But
after he does his homework.
Yeah.
Stay in school, kids.
But I was sitting there for the big reveal of Luke Skywalker. And the second everybody kind of calmed down, like in the show, and everybody was like, what's going on? Who's flying in? And you see that X-Wing. I was just like this. I went, it's up! Luke Skywalker! I was screaming. I was the only one in the building. I was just screaming at the top of my lungs. And then as he is going through and mowing people down, and what was really cool is you could tell by the fighting that it was him, just because of they went very much on how he fights in episodes 5 and 6. And the whole time, then I slowly switched to, is it Sebastian Stan? Did they get Sebastian? I was like freaking out, looking around at no one's around me. And they didn't go with Sebastian, which low-key bummed me a little bit, and low-key didn't. I thought the CGI was a little shaky for him. I didn't love it, but I loved everything about it. So it worked for me. Obviously, like we talked who it could be. Is it going to be Ezra? Is it going to be Ahsoka? is it going to be Cal Kestis? Is it a random Jedi we've never heard of? But it just makes sense that it's Luke. It just
He's
makes
building
more
a temple.
sense. Yeah.
He's collecting all the Jedi or like all the Force sensitive kids to like round them up to a temple that Ben will eventually murder all of them.
Exactly. And what they can, they can always do is, Grogu might not perish when Kylo kind of loses his mind, just because, if they do a time skip and Grogu's gotten a little older a little sooner, he could always go back to Mando in this show.
I don't think Grogu's gonna stay with the temple.
No, I don't either.
That would be my guess.
I love the finale. I loved the they didn't go get Ahsoka. They went and got Bo-Katan, and for some reason not the other dude. They just got the two girls. And
I like to think Axe Woves was just like in the bathroom, and then the girls were just like, "All right, let's go." And he's just
I like the little fight between her and Boba Fett. I thought that was cool in the bar.
Oh man, can we talk about like the opener and that scene? Because what was it like in that scene as they like step in? I didn't expect there to be as much like tension in the air between Bo-Katan and Boba. Like I thought that there would be a little bit of something, but like they went like straight to the bone as like, you're no Mandalorian. It's like, I thought
it was funny because like Mando's sitting there watching them argue about who's a Mandalorian, and to him, he's like, neither of you are Mandalorians to me. Like, you're all taking your helmets off. Like, I just want,
come on,
man.
This is the way, baby.
And then honestly, as much as I love Luke, obviously the Rogue One tease was amazing with how Luke kind of gets revealed in the smoke with the green lightsaber, very similar to Vader in Rogue One, which I thought was so cool.
I'm guessing you've watched the side-by-side of those two scenes next to each other. Someone went and did an edit. Oh man.
It's
like
awesome.
Him stepping out in white smoke versus Vader being like darkness going from him. Also, not to mention, there's a very father-son moment as like it's the last Dark Trooper droid as he's going up to the door, and he just crushes him, like raises it up and then crushes the whole thing. I'm like father, like son. Ooh, boy.
Even the hand movements for the actor who was playing him was so spot on to Mark, because Mark kind of uses the Force kind of interesting with his hand compared to everybody else. Even that I noticed and just loved. And then the second I saw the glove, there was the whole time there was always like, it's Luke, but there was a little guy in the back of my head who was like, what if it isn't, Al? And then I saw the glove and I was like, shut up, little man, it's Luke. It's
my
now
voice.
Official.
The little man is my voice.
I love that. I just love the whole thing. But honestly, my favorite part of the whole episode was him taking off his helmet so Grogu could really see him. And,
Same.
I was talking to a friend last night of ours, and I liked the Dark Troopers quite a bit. They were not my favorite kind of threat. I do agree that there is not a lot of peril. We don't necessarily feel like there's a lot of peril for our characters throughout the whole show. I'm okay with that. I think we're still wishing it was Game of Thrones and we want everyone to die all the time. And I think we're being a little too pushy on it, on getting a new show like that. But and then a friend of ours yesterday said, if he'd not taken off his helmet the episode before, I think it would have hit more. And for me, it hit because Grogu has never seen him without his helmet on.
Yeah.
And that's what hit. Grogu, it didn't matter if as an audience member, that those two had never shared an intimate connection like that. And I legit was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to teach in 30 minutes. I can't be a mess.
Okay, kids, time for class.
I was a mess. When he first puts his little 3 fingers up, when he's like scratching at the helmet and he just takes it off, and you can see, he's crying, and it's a hit. That Grogu means more to him than anyone. and he's
Mhm.
learned to love throughout this show. He's learned to care. He's learned he's questioned who he is, obviously, and I think the episode before, I said I didn't necessarily love it as a penultimate episode, but I actually have changed my tune quite a bit because I think the conversations with Bill Burr and everything really hit more here, where it's like, well, you say that until it comes down to what you really want.
Right.
And Mando really wants to be with our boy, Grogu. And that moment is just, it's just so powerful. Like I rewound it after the episode and went back through. Go ahead, Tanner.
It's like this whole all of season this whole season 1 season 2 arc for them was was this story of these two individuals that have this these very broken and violent pasts that have found each other in this galaxy, and are so connected to each other and have so much love that you really start to see that Mando will do literally anything. He will bend, he will even throw his code out just to make sure that Grogu is safe. And that was with that final helmet reveal, that it was such a powerful moment with that.
It really was. Kyle, any thoughts on all the stuff we've been saying? Anything lingering in that brain of yours?
Well, when it comes to that final reveal between him and Grogu, when he finally is able to take his helmet off, I'm there with you guys. Like that hasn't happened before, even though we've seen them bond so much together these past 2 seasons, and it left me even emotional. I was tearing up too. I thought that was really powerful, and it just went to show with like the last episode when he had to take off his helmet in order to really get those coordinates and make this entire mission possible and go against his code. Like it just shows, I don't know, the building of that emotional arc between the two of them. Yeah, and the Skywalker stuff, like it was just awesome. Like I was really impressed by how well that choreography looked for Luke Skywalker. It wasn't the ship for me where I was like, is that Luke Skywalker? But of course it was like the green saber, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're actually having Luke Skywalker in it. Like, all right, guys. And then
you were talking. I literally, my reaction of like the minute the X-wing goes across it literally turned into it's happening. Like the Office meme.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, it's happening.
This
oh
is
God,
Nick's.
everybody, stay calm. Stay the fuck. Stay calm.
This is actually my brother's Annie Essays. Go check him out on YouTube. This is Qui-Gon's lightsaber.
Thanks for that, Nick. Do you want me to go, Alex?
Sorry to interrupt you, Kyle. Could you you can finish.
Well, I was impressed by the CGI for Luke anyway. Like I guess towards the tail end, maybe I was finally noticing it after like the shock wore off, that like I was seeing young Luke Skywalker's face, which I really like that more personally. Like I think if it was some other sort of actor's face, like I would have been like, it's Luke,
him in the
but not
black
really
suit
Luke.
though. Like
And him in the black. Yeah.
Oh, it's just so awesome. That's prime Luke Skywalker right there.
Yeah.
I mean, he just took down the Empire 5 years ago. Like he's been just
now he's
getting stronger.
Yeah. But that's how I like that reveal to happen. And I hope moving forward, like he doesn't make a regular appearance, like if it's just that little snippet, I think that's perfect. I think that's all that we need to see.
I don't think we'll see more of him unless he like returns Grogu to him in a later season or something.
Yeah. I think we will see him again, but it's not gonna. Obviously, it's not gonna be in like a big titular role. I think it's gonna be way more of like a like here he is. He wanted to be with you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tanner. Something else?
Oh, I did actually have a question for you guys about along those lines of. I mean, initially off the top of my head, since they CG'd his face. It makes me think, I don't think that they're going to, if they wanted to get more Luke Skywalker, they would have gone with someone like Sebastian Stan in the role to
I agree.
Have him appear more throughout the series. So Do you guys think there's the possibility of a live action individual like Sebastian Stan taking the place, so that way we see a little bit more Luke Skywalker?
Never say never with Kathy Kennedy in charge, but I don't think so. I think John and Dave understood everything. George was on set so much this season; it seemed like more than the first season. I think they all kind of sat down and kind of came up with the idea to do that, and I think it just makes sense. It's Luke, and it makes sense that Ahsoka is not there when Luke is there. A lot of people online I've been seeing have been like, "Hey, we're gonna get more Luke, and maybe he'll meet Ahsoka, and like think of that amazing conversation they could have, and he can tell her how Anakin was redeemed in the end." And there's been a lot of pushback on that because I've seen a lot of tweets of people being like, "Well, if Luke met another Jedi, I feel like his response would be, why didn't you show up to train me? Like, why haven't you come to help me destroy the Empire? It was
He is
just
very
me
whiny. He would do that.
and an old man, Obi-Wan, who died, and then Yoda, who yeeted too. Where were you, Miss Ahsoka?" So I don't
She
think they'll
lives for
do
a
any of
long
that.
time.
I don't think they'll do any of that. I think that's pretty much all we'll see of Luke unless we see him pop up in this show with Grogu. I don't see him doing any more than just returning Grogu and saying my training is complete with him. Or there's nothing I have left to teach him. So that's
Or he went and killed half my students, so like I'm gonna work on
he
that.
was one of the Knights of
Take
Ren
him.
with Kylo. When
You
Luke
see,
was like,
some people have been photoshopping that like Force Awakens scene with little baby Grogu as he's like right by their feet, right by the feet.
I saw
Oh god.
so many tweets about how, people thanking John and Dave for saving Star Wars and saving 2020 because of how much people really hate Episode 9, and just kind of the way the sequel trilogy went as a whole. And if I said I didn't have feelings like that, I'd be a little bit of a liar. The Mandalorian is just such a better sequel to the original trilogy for me, and that Luke reveal is awesome.
We
And
finally
R2
got
showing up, oh my gosh, that hit! It hit the feels.
And then him shaking, getting PTSD. It's like, oh, he's gonna beat me with a stick again.
Yeah, mine. Go ahead.
We finally got to see Master Luke. Like,
I know.
this is something that I've wanted to see ever since I was 6 years old and just finished watching Return of the Jedi. Like, I wanted to see, honest to God, Master Luke in his prime, waving around with his lightsaber, doing his cool Force stuff. And it, everyone, as you get older, you have a lot of those moments of like, you see something and then like talking to a kid and they're like, what's a Walkman, or what's a CD player, that little things like that, and you're like, oh my god, I'm getting old. This was one of the very few moments where it started to happen on screen and I could actually feel myself turning into that original 6-year-old again, as I'm just watching Luke Skywalker waving around a cool laser sword and just having a great time watching Star Wars.
I agree so much. On December 17th, for the Movie Meal fans who watch, was the 1-year anniversary of my favorite video I've made on the channel, which is the What Star Wars Means to Me video. Getting real vulnerable. Kyle knows what I'm talking about. He wasn't in the video, but
no, I know what you're talking about.
He was petting his head while he was bawling his eyes out about Star Wars.
after the video, yeah.
I made that. It's the video I'm the most proud of because it was just so vulnerable for myself and talking about how much Star Wars really means to me and how it makes me feel 7 years old again. Playing with this exact lightsaber that's just been beaten and destroyed, doesn't even have a bottom anymore. Just playing my heart out, loving it so much with my brother and our friends. And I remember like when the episode ended and those credits went before the after credit scene came on, I was just sitting there giddy as all could be. The night before, I didn't have necessarily a great night. I was super tired and I was just kind of dragging through, and I just all of a sudden my energy spiked insane and I was just sitting there just giddy. It was the same feeling I had leaving The Force Awakens and Last Jedi for the first time. It was the same feeling I have when I leave some of the amazing Marvel movies and like the anticipation through it. And I just was so happy because I was 7 years old and I was just loving everything I saw. It was just awesome. It was our heroes saving the day. And it was just cool reveals, all handled so well. I lost it. I was so happy. It was such a good episode. And that's why it worked for me, because I remember when it ended, I also thought, I know people are not going to like this finale, and I know people are not going to like this show still. And a lot of people are going to complain. And I got on Twitter and saw some of that. Not overwhelmingly, nothing but love. I have also heard nothing but love from casual fans. I've been around a lot of high schoolers for my coaching and a lot of teachers who are not nerd, like a lot of people that are not nerds I'm around. And almost everyone I heard at some point on Friday talk about how they're going to watch the Mandalorian finale as soon as they get home, and they are pumped. And I was like, this is awesome. Like the casual fan loves this show. It's really only the deeper, more movie attached Star Wars fan, I think, fans of just film in general, but then also Star Wars, who seem to have a few problems. But I loved it. I loved everything about it. I'm excited to rewatch it now in a binge format. I think I'm going to start over with this break and do the whole show. But Kyle, you've been quiet for a bit. Hey, what are you thinking over there?
No, I'm
You're
just glad.
a bunch of babies.
I wasn't crying. You were crying.
Who's cutting onions?
No, man. I mean, as a casual fan, I was able. It felt cool to be able to enjoy something in a moment like that as much as like deep cut Star Wars fans, such as like you guys are. Like it, I wasn't in love with Star Wars as much as you two were, obviously, but even I understood like how big of a deal Mandalorian has been, and especially this finale and that ending was. So it just felt cool to really be a part of that, and it's special, especially with when it comes to Star Wars. Like these types of moments are really special, and I was really happy to be able to become a part of that.
And one of the things I think Disney has done well is they've gotten a lot of criticisms for a lot of the things they've done. They've done some things right, but one of the things I think they have knocked out of the park is associating Star Wars with Christmas and moving it from May. I think that as much as that original trilogy obviously just did so well in that May spot, obviously May the 4th, but I think when it's Christmas, the Christmas season is now synonymous with Star Wars because of what they've done, to the point where Solo struggled when they didn't put it out on Christmas. The fan base was kind of like, man, it makes sense. Like it's the end of the year. We're trying to find a little bit of happiness, especially in 2020 at the end of the year.
When did Rogue One come out? Was it Christmas time too? It was Christmas time? Okay.
And I think I love that Mandalorian is been sticking with the kind of the towards Christmas holiday. They announced next season will be, I think it's on Christmas, I think is that first episode release or something like that. Which means they're pushing it back a little bit to do one of these other shows early in November and October, which I'm all for. And I think once they start ramping up more shows, it's gonna really work. But keep Mandalorian at that Christmas time for me really works, because it fits with everything. Star Wars makes me feel hopeful. It makes me feel like excited and just, that kind of youthful love of life. And putting that at Christmas at the start of the New Year's, I think works so well. It's Disney did that right, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
What do you guys think of the reveal, the after credit scene? I texted Kyle when he finished the episode and said, dude, what did you think of the after credit scene? And he responds in all caps, there's an after credit scene. And I just responded back in all caps, run, man, run back to the episode, go. What'd you guys think? We got the reveal. They are doing the Boba Fett show. So what did you think?
Dude, I was laughing so hard at Bib Fortuna.
Being all chubby on the throne.
Oh man, Bib has been sitting pretty, and then all of a sudden, Fennec just comes in and starts just laying people out, and then sets the Twi'lek free. And then Bulba walks in. We get a McClunky. I don't know if you guys heard that one. There was a McClunky drop, and I was like, I see what you did there.
I love that. That was awesome.
And then
go ahead.
And then just blasts him and takes his seat on the throne. Oh God, I'm there. There was a good Borat reference or meme that I saw of that one. I'm kicking the castle.
What did they say the title was going to be? Was it the chapters of Boba Fett?
Of Boba.
The Book of Boba. That's right. Kyle, what did you think?
I thought the reveal was cool because clearly even I didn't see it coming. I did not know there was any after credit scene at all. So I think that reveal for just about any Star Wars fans, like, holy crap, this is amazing. I'm still not on the boat that I want a Boba Fett show. Just because, again, I like new stuff. I wouldn't mind Star Wars like exploring and opening the universe more than just, closing in and knowing and seeing characters that we've already seen before. But I think it was a good reveal. I think Star Wars fans will enjoy this show. I bet it's in good hands, obviously. It's just not a show that I am really anticipating for as of right now. Like, it's just, out of all like the Star Wars characters that we know, it's Obi-Wan that I really want to show for.
It's always Obi-Wan.
It's always Obi-Wan.
It's always been
That's
Obi-Wan, Kathy. It's what we all want.
But for Boba Fett, I'm like, okay. Like, I'm sure people will like it, but I'm not there yet, and I don't know if I will be.
The only counter that I would bring to that one is Boba is really a character that we've seen, and there's a lot of hype that was surrounded in the original trilogy. And normally I would very much be like agree with you of like, let's just get away from these legacy characters. But he's a character that we got to see him just standing around being a really cool dude.
He really doesn't do a lot.
Kicked into the Sarlacc pit. So getting a little bit more of like
Boba Fett, where?
I'm actually really stoked at the idea of him being this like crime lord on Tatooine versus the bounty hunter Boba Fett. Like he is really stepping into his own, and I think there can be some really interesting places that they could go with this, especially if he's either fighting the other Hutt clans, maybe Black Sun is still in the picture, maybe oh man, this is stupid old nerd deep cut right here, but if they could bring Prince Zigzar from what was it, it's a video game where you played as Dash Rendar. It was on the N64. I forget the name of it. Dark Forces, Star Wars Dark Forces. If they could bring back the Criminal Underground from that one, that would be so cool.
Yeah, I texted Kyle when we were talking about it after he watched it, and I said, I was with you. I didn't really want a Boba Fett show, and then I saw him wipe everyone out and sit on the throne, and now I kind of want a Boba Fett show. And I'm with Tanner. My biggest issue was like, all right, we don't want a Boba Fett show because that's going to be the exact same thing as Mandalorian. It's going to be a bounty hunter going around and doing stuff. But now it's a gangster show. It's him being a crime lord, and if it's him kind of trying to be be what Maul was for a while and what the Hutts were, would be pretty cool. And to bring in those kind of gang lords would be kind of cool. Obviously, you can't bring in Maul, but I mean like those names and factions as he is trying to take over and kind of be this big crime boss, I think would be really cool. And at least what Boba Fett also offers is no attachment to anything else other than Boba Fett. Like his attachment will only be to a Jabba the Hutt. Like he's not, or some of the bounty hunters from back in the day. He's not going to be, you're not going to sit there and go, maybe locals show up and stop Boba Fett. It probably just won't happen.
How did the job go? Oh, everything was going great, and then it went all to hell, and then this guy named Luke showed up. What?
And it would
had Boba been
be,
there 20 minutes, or had Luke been there 20 minutes earlier?
yeah, it would have been, and it would be cool because we could get a little bit of crossover where Mando could show up in the Boba Fett show because maybe Boba Fett hires him for a job, which would be kind of cool. And I like that they're keeping Fennec alive. Her coming back I've really learned to love her character. Like I was bummed when she died in the first season because it was like, man, I kind of like who this character is going to be. And then her coming back, I've really enjoyed who she is in this show. I'm curious if John and Dan or Dave are taking this show over as well, because they did keep this a secret. So I'd like to know if this is part of their kind of secret, or what they're going to continue on producing with the High Republic and then the Ahsoka show. But
so another question about this is we don't know if it's a show. It could be a movie of some kind that they would do,
like a Disney Plus movie only.
Yeah. And the other idea is the Book of Boba chapter 17, like beginning with chapter 17 of The Mandalorian. What if he becomes the titular Mandalorian of that section? Like the show The Mandalorian turns into an anthology, whereas seasons 1 and 2 was the Book of Din Djarin. Seasons 3 through 4 is the Book of Boba. 5 and 6 is the Book of Bo-Katan.
That would be interesting, but we know we are getting The Mandalorian with him back next year.
We do know that for like 100%.
It was announced at the investors meeting. Kathy said,
what? Okay.
I'm pretty sure she said December 25th will be the episode 1 of season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Solid. Let me double check while Kyle talks, but I'm almost positive it was Christmas Day.
Well, that makes me well, we'll talk about that later. I was gonna do predictions for season 3, but I get where you guys are coming from though. Like, we've seen to a degree Boba Fett like the bounty hunter, but not Boba Fett the crime lord. So I get like there's at least something different there, and I agree. Like, I think that will be much cooler than just another bounty hunter as type show.
Right.
For me, what was cool about Boba Fett always was that we didn't know a lot about him. You know, we didn't know too much about him, and that was the cool part of the character. It was just the intrigue, the mystery. Like, what could this character be? You know, all the fan theories and all the different types of stories that we've had in the past. So I'm not saying like this show is going to like ruin that, you know, intrigue or mystery at all. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun, but that was just always like what I liked about that character. So having a show for him is not something that I'm interested in, because I just like that intrigue to begin with. It's probably like it probably sounds weird to like many fans, and I understand why, but I don't know.
No,
I like the open-endedness of some things sometimes.
I completely understand where you're coming from with that, because I mean,
Yeah.
there are, I mean, like for instance with me, I've always kind of preferred like the Force to be really kind of surrounded more in mystery rather than bringing something like midichlorians into the.
Sure.
I'm not the dude that's like screaming about midichlorians, but it was just kind of one of those moments where I was like, that wasn't necessary.
It's Christmas Day. Kathy announced it at the investors meeting. Will be the first episode of season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Okay.
With no release date for Boba yet. So.
And they also said December of 2021 is when the Book of Boba will be.
That's right.
In.
So I wonder if they'll go back to back, and we'll get Boba first at where we've been getting Mandalorian, and then when it ends, we'll get like a week break before Christmas, and then we'll go into Mandalorian.
That'd be interesting.
And there might be some crossover. You don't know. And odds are this show, I bet it's just going to be the same. It's a mini series. They're going to say this is a mini series so we can end it whenever we want. We can do as many episodes as we want, where we're not confined to the way people kind of view TV. A movie would be interesting if it is a movie and they do like a big movie thing right before we get Mandalorian. Would be kind of cool. as long as it goes in theaters, hopefully by this time next year.
Real quick, I'm confused by them calling these shows miniseries because if they can end the show whenever they want, couldn't that just be a normal show? Like it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I mean, unless if they only do like one season of a show, you know, kind of like I don't know, Queen's Gambit on Netflix. It's a miniseries because it's only those X amount of episodes and that's it. They told the story. So like, isn't it just like a normal? Aren't these like normal television shows until they decide how many seasons and then they'll decide if it's a miniseries or
Yes,
not from
but
there?
a mini series has changed, but like a show like Schitt's Creek is considered a mini series. It's
Okay.
shorter seasons
Mhm.
and it didn't go on forever.
Mhm.
Compared to like The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones, which are actual long drawn out series, or like Lost or something like that, which is just such a long drawn
The
out
line
show.
the line seems to be blurred quite a bit
Yeah.
now.
Yes, for sure.
Whereas it seemed like early 2000s, it was like you would get a show that was like minimum 10 episodes, and that was just like a series and per season, and you would get, I don't know, anywhere from like 3 to 6 seasons or whatever. But now, and then your miniseries at that point in time were things like John Adams or Band of Brothers, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking of.
And it
a
really
lot-
was HBO that kind of pushed the miniseries idea forward. And I think
Yeah.
sitcoms have a lot to do with it, because sitcoms are a series. It's 24 episodes or whatever for my season 1, 2, 3, 4, and however many. But now it's like, oh, I can do 6 to 8 episodes at an hour, and we'll just make that a miniseries because it's shorter.
It does make me curious of like, what is your guys' favorite? Well, 2 questions. What is your guys' favorite form of storytelling between movie, miniseries, and like classic idea of a miniseries or TV series? Like just overall, and then what's your favorite for Star Wars?
You want to go first, Al?
My favorite telling, and like my favorite, if I prefer the movie or TV miniseries format in Star Wars.
Well, no. So first, what is the format of a story being told that you like the most? Do you like the 2-hour movie format? Do you like the 8-hour miniseries format, or do you prefer the extended, like, long series?
I think a lot of fans are leaning towards more give me 10 episodes or 8 episodes at an hour. Give me an 8-hour movie compared to a movie. But when you throw in, if it ever returns, the movie theater experience, it will always be the number one and most favorite to me, where everyone is doing the same thing. You're not on your phones, or, well, hopefully, or somebody's not like, it's just different when you're at your house. When you're in the movies, watching a movie, I think is the best experience. And then it would be getting me 8 hours of something I really love, like an Obi-Wan show, where it's basically just a long movie.
As a miniseries, or as
Yes,
a
I
series?
prefer a mini series, because it feels like they can, when they say mini series, it feels like they can, they're not confined to like filler. They can do really what they want when they want and just end it. Like Breaking Bad is kind of a mini series before it was kind of announced as a mini series, because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kyle, what about you?
Did not know that about Breaking Bad. It's always movies first for me. Just because when it comes to television, 1, I can't keep up with all the shows, especially these days, and 2, I like only like a certain pocket of time to tell like a really intriguing story, and it's also part of the movie experience of going to the theaters for me. I just like all that more over a mini series or just a normal TV show. But for Star Wars, maybe it's just a Mandalorian hype, but right now I'm fine with it being as in mini series formats. If we get like a 2-hour Star Wars movie for theaters, which we are going to, but like if they do it every once in a while, like cool, I'm down for that. But right now, I think they found the right people in the right way to tell Star Wars stories as shows. So I think that's good for me.
What about you,
Right.
Tanner?
It's weird because I think as I've gotten older, I really enjoy like long form story, like a lot of long form storytellings where you can really just like sink your teeth into it. but not to the point of, let's say, I think the biggest show has the show that has the one of the longest running series that I know of is like One Piece. That is just like I get it, and I get why people like it, but in my mind that show is just egregiously long at this point.
Lot of filler.
So I mean, like, TV series, I enjoy TV series, but that gets a little too long-winded for me at times. It almost feels like I'm going to wring this dry until I can get every single penny out of this.
Lost.
And movies for the longest point in time ranked higher than miniseries, but honestly, I think they're in equal format for me, because sometimes I really want to be able to just get the 2-hour story, get something concise that just intrigues me, brings me into this world, and then I'm out. But at the same time, there are other things like The Mandalorian where you do want to sink your teeth into, but not have it go on for 24 hours. Something that you can just it's like a 4-course meal that you sit down to eat versus just the entree that is the movie, and I really enjoy that. It also, this might be blasphemous to say, but I'm almost wondering at this point if Star Wars is actually going to be better in a series format.
A lot of people have been on that train for a long time.
But then again, we get the original trilogy. I mean, you can't deny that those 3 movies are incredible and have made a massive impact on cinema as a whole. But
maybe more so with technology and effects, but I wouldn't say so for well, the story is creative in itself, but it's not like it's masterful.
Oh, I'm not talking story.
Okay.
I specifically I'm talking about its impact on pop culture, and also what ILM was able to do and push forward for, technologically speaking, with that. Because I mean, for being honest, Star Wars is actually a very it's a very cookie cutter structure. Like, it's a great timeless story to tell, but it is a story
good versus evil.
Bingo. It's your classic Greek tragedy.
Which, to a friend of ours' credit, like, part of the reason he and a lot of fans, I think, are like this, don't like The Last Jedi and things like that, is because it isn't black and white, good versus evil, and that's what they wanted, even though neither is episode 5, but whatever. Nothing is going to beat the feeling I had as being 7 years old watching Mandalorian was amazing. Nothing will beat the feeling when I was like 14 waiting in line and I got to watch Revenge of the Sith with everybody. But I was with my friends, so like that kid energy, or The Force Awakens, like the energy in that room.
Where was I? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Did you get invited to Bridger Eli's birthday party? Because your boy.
No, that jerk. He was always jealous of our love.
Yes, but that theater experience will always win the day. It's the feeling you have when you go see like an awesome horror movie with people next to you, and it's everybody's kind of freaking out together, or a movie like Endgame, when the whole crowd is just screaming and cheering at everything that's happening. It's just, that experience will never be better than sitting at home by yourself watching something, even 100%. If the story might be tighter. And that's what always wins for me. If I'm home, you give me 8 hours of a miniseries all day. But if I'm in the theater, heck, if we get theaters back, you guys start tossing Mando eps in the theater. I will gladly pay $50 to go watch this finale in the theater. Like, I would gladly pay that. I just, those, and I've gotten a chance to see Empire Strikes Back in the theater this year, when theaters first kind of came back and no one really went. A buddy and I went, and we were the only people in the theater outside of one other guy, and it was awesome. Like, seeing that in the theater for the first time was just amazing. So the theater will always win.
For sure. It's I mean, I guess when I was bringing up that conversation is like they're all in the same viewing format at home.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I completely agree with you guys. There's nothing that beats the theater experience. Not only with you're seeing it on the big screen, the incredible sound system that they bring, the energy that everyone else around you brings when everyone wants to be there. Because don't get me wrong, like there are some movies that you go into where other people will ruin the experience. And that sucks. It doesn't happen often, I find, but that sucks when it does.
That's why you got to be the first people in the theater. That's why when Kyle and I in college, we were always the first guys in that theater.
But when you do have those moments, like I do going to Force Awakens, I remember the hype. It was palpable. The energy that was everywhere as everyone was like leading up to it. Everyone was stoked for Star Wars. Star Wars was on that like uptick of like popularity, that like wave of popular, because I mean Star Wars always has this like ebb and flow of like, oh, it's cool to like Star Wars, it's not cool to like Star Wars. Now we're back into it's cool to like Star Wars.
Marvel helped a lot making nerd stuff cool.
Right. And man, when you're sitting in there and everyone wants to be there and is enjoying that experience, and the big moments and the big reveals happen, and you get the big draws of breath, or everyone just cheering at the screen, God, you can't beat that.
I agree. So as we're wrapping up here, real quickly, I wonder, are we all on the same page for what season 3 is going to be? I think it's going to be Bo-Katan gets that saber from him, and then he goes and joins them on freeing Mandalore. I think that's what's going to happen.
Mando's going to turn into Jon Snow. I don't want it.
Seriously, though.
I think it's going to be a story about the struggle between getting the Darksaber. I think Mando's going to be holding on to it a lot longer than he would like to, for whatever reason.
He's just like, just take it. I don't want to fight. Just take it.
Seriously though, I was yelling at the screen, just kick him, like, or punch him or something. They'll be like, oh no, I dropped it. Oh, I guess it's yours. Like, it's not that complicated.
Although I think you could even tell, even with the helmet on, Mando being like looking like when Moff is saying, she has to beat you. I think there's part of him that's like, she won't beat me. Like, if we go head to head, I'm going to beat her. And so she's not going to get this dang thing, but I don't want it. And he just should have thrown it at her. They're like, I just want my baby. I want my baby. All I want is my baby. Dang saber.
He's gonna turn into Harrison Ford from The Fugitive. I want my family. Where's my family?
Maybe he'll make a deal with her and he'll be like, look, I'll just keep the saber for now, but I'll go join you and help you get Mandalore. And then maybe he ends up on the throne and there's a big fight and maybe he takes out Bo-Katan. Mando on the throne. I'm for it. But I think are we all in agreement that that's what we think season 3 is going to go? With more Bo-Katan and Mandalore and kind of the history, the lore, what it means to be a Mandalorian?
Yes, I do think that, but also I'm gonna say the beginning of the series or beginning of that season is honestly probably gonna be Mando having a lot of introspection of like his place in the galaxy, of like, dude, what do I do?
Very Spidey, Far From Home. What do I do from here? You know, I become so attached to Grogu. What happens now?
I don't remember that in Spidey. The Grogu part. It was a bad joke.
Anyway, any final
sitting there looking up at Tony Stark's visage and he's like, why am I thinking about what's a Grogu? What?
I know I've been gone for 5 years.
He's just shooting webs. He's like, I love Grogu.
Okay, I do have a question though. I remember in Rebels, Bo-Katan clearly being like to Sabine, you have the Darksaber, you have it. You take it, it's yours.
Right.
Did I miss something though about, first off, how Moff got the Darksaber, and two, why Bo-Katan wants it back, even though she clearly gave the blessing to Sabine?
But wait a minute, she didn't give the saber to Sabine. Didn't Sabine win it?
Sabine had it, and I guess she won it, but at the same time, I remember Bo-Katan being like, it's yours. Like
because she won it.
Yeah, that must have
and
been
she loves Sabine.
Yeah.
It's not like Mando where it's this random guy that she helped get a baby back for a day. Like it's Sabine and her fought side by side for a while and really have a bond. So her winning it makes sense. We don't know how Moff Gideon got it. Just in the Purge, at some point he had taken it.
I guess so, yeah.
Is the little we've been told.
Okay. Maybe this season will for sure delve into what
I think so.
It will. I was just curious on if I missed something or if I'm forgetting something from Rebels or something, because all of a sudden Bo-Katan's like, I must have the saber, and I'm like, but you let your buddy Sabine have it. Like, why? Sabine must be gone or something. I don't know, but
another big thing about that that people have pointed out is initially when Sabine got a hold of the saber, she wanted to give it to Bo-Katan, but Bo-Katan did the same exact thing and said, I'm not going to take that because I need to fight for it. But then she does it again with the blessing of all of the other Mandalorian clans as she gives it to her and she becomes the ruler of Mandalore. Now, what makes me think, oh my God, uniting the Mandalorian clans, as we've seen, especially from the tavern scene, is going to be a Sisyphean task with how many different creeds and ideas there are for being a Mandalorian. Yeah. So I think I would suspect it's Bo-Katan thinking to herself, I need to win this saber and really show that I am the true leader of Mandalore for the rest of the clans to follow under me. Yeah.
Because if you just are giving it, it's not going to matter. And our boy Mando just wants his baby back. That's all he cares about. What if it just opens up with him in a new Razor Crest that he's got, and he's just flying around? He's like, I'm just going to go find this guy that showed up and took my kid. I've changed my mind. I want him back. Go ahead.
I'm going to miss the Razor Crest so much.
Yeah. I wonder if, he's got to get a new ship, whether it's another Razor Crest or if they go with a new ship, which would be kind of cool. You brought up One Piece. One of the coolest parts of One Piece is when they get a new pirate ship because you're so attached to it. So one of the things that would be great would be kind of to see him get a new version of a Razor Crest or a new ship that is also really cool to kind of roll with.
I just don't want to. A lot of fans are suspecting and want him to get the ship Slave 2, and that ship looks like literal dog turd.
I can't remember what it looks like.
The best way to describe it is this asymmetric block of cheese that a 5-year-old got a hold of and shaved a little bit off of and then slapped one wing on the side of it. It's so dumb.
Slave 2?
Slave 2. Because Boba Fett's unoriginal when it comes to naming his ships in the EU canon.
That is not a cool looking ship.
That is not a cool looking ship.
That thing's ugly.
Yeah. The thing is uglier than
Come on, Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans, have some taste. Have some class. Come on.
Yeah, he should obviously be rolling around in a new Naboo starfighter. Come on.
Yeah, I know what that is. Connect it all. Mando gets the Millennium Falcon for a bit. Connect it. He took it. He won it from Han Solo in a game of Sabak, and then he ends up leaving it on Jakku for Rey. It's all connected.
That just made my brain melt.
Oh, God.
Anyway, I think we'll end this awesome after show here, guys. Tanner, thank you for coming on and being a part of this.
Thanks.
We loved having you.
Thanks for having me, guys. I've really loved the time that we've had on here.
Us too, man.
Have loved it so much that I came to Kyle and said, look, I've done a Star Wars podcast in the past. I want to bring it back. I want Tanner to join. And Kyle said, you're replacing me? And I was like,
it was a whole power struggle. Let me tell you.
I said, no. But Tanner is going Tanner and I are starting a Star Wars podcast together. That'll be a part of Movie Meals, and then we're going to drop it on other platforms like Kyle and I do for the Get Back guys. We're expanding out Movie Meals a little bit, and I love it. And we have all that announcement will be coming, so make sure to follow me on Twitter, link in the description, and our community YouTube page, where we'll kind of drop when that first episode's going to be, which should hopefully be soon. We've got some cool, even Tanner and I just kind of talking about base ideas, got into some cool thoughts, thinking of maybe rewatching the whole series and making each episode about that movie or show. So it'll be fun. We're excited to keep Star Wars in our kind of our viewpoint when it ends here for a little bit with kind of nothing in the media world, but we're excited. So guys, remember to like, subscribe, share, check out our new merch. We've got Movie Meals merch.
This is not our merch. Don't buy this.
Should be here tomorrow. The merch I ordered. I don't know if Kyle has gotten on the train yet, but he should.
I have it in the mail. It's coming.
Guys, check it out. It is awesome stuff. We're gonna do a little video unboxing too when I get it. And we also have a Patreon, which is down in the description as well. Thank you to our patrons. Those are going to be flashing on the screen. Thank you guys for starting to support us. Anybody else who can, please do. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
Another happy landing.